Hi everyone, welcome back to Fit for Rafting, and this is Rafting Magazine series where I sit here and talk about all sorts of different things and work out a little bit, try to get you guys inspired to get ready, be fit, and be ready to go on the river. So today I would like to talk about stress management and a technique that I learned that I find really helpful on the river, and I hope you guys will too. It's called the 4-4-4 technique. But before I get into it, please make sure you like and subscribe if you enjoy what you're seeing. If you have questions or comments, please make sure you pop them in the comments below. And then, we just love to hear from you guys. So thanks so much for following along. And so the 4-4-4 technique. This is a technique that I heard about. It's used by a lot of special forces all over the world. It's a breathing technique, and it's just a real simple sort of technique that you do. Basically, at its core, you inhale, and you inhale for 4 seconds, then you hold it for 4 seconds, and then you exhale for 4 seconds. And you count it off in your head. So basically you just go, and then hold it, and then you let it out. It's kind of hard to do while I'm talking, but you guys get the idea. So 4-4-4, breathe in, hold it for 4 seconds, and then breathe out for 4 seconds. So this has a lot to do with your physiology and really helps you out in a lot of ways. First of all, the reason that you're feeling a lot of stress on the river, or you're feeling excited or agitated in some ways, has to do with your cortisol levels, and it has to do with your adrenaline. These are two key ingredients to the fight or flight response. So whether you're in an actual fight with someone, in a fist fight or a gun fight or something like that, or you are on the river, you're being chased by a lion, we kind of evolved this response to a perceived threat, or actually more of an active threat. We get into this mode in our head where we think, oh my God, I either got to run or I got to fight it out. A bunch of things happen to you and your physiology when this is going on. One of the things that happens is you tend to want to purge things. Your body makes you want to throw up. It stops digestion. This is kind of how you start getting dehydrated and stuff too, is that your body is trying to store as much as it can because it knows something's coming. And your anxiety level increases, your blood pressure increases, your heart rate increases, and it's all designed to prime your muscles for either a fight or for you to run out of there. So the adrenaline, it helps. There's stories of a kid getting trapped under a car, and mom runs over, picks up the car. Those things happen, and then she's like, I don't know what happened. I don't know how I lifted that part of the car. The adrenaline really, really kicks this in and has a lot of responses in your body. Another interesting thing that happens to you is you may start feeling cold. And this is because your capillaries constrict and your body starts to pull blood from your extremities. Because, of course, if you're in a fight, and this actually happens a lot in the military and combat, or if you're in a gunfight, or if you're a police officer and you get shot, what happens is when you're in the fight or flight mode, it pulls that blood from certain areas and kind of pools up in a location. So you might have an officer who's shot in the arm, and they don't start bleeding until they actually start to relax. Because again, capillaries get constricted. It completely changes your physiology. So this happens on the river too. We would experience this. If you are rafting and say you have a huge laceration on your arm, there's a piece of metal in the river and it slices your arm, you'll have a delayed bleeding response because of this, because your adrenaline's firing, you're in that fight or flight mode. So that's kind of a shocking thing to people. But one of the things that happens, especially in the wintertime, is that people get cold. You get cold real easily. Your fingers get cold. And in the wintertime, if you're, of course, in the northern hemisphere right now, that can mean a lot of things, and that can be kind of a scary thing. So if you find yourself on edge, using the 4-4-4 technique is going to really help to warm you up in a way too. What happens when you do this breathing technique is it changes your physiology by activating your hypothalamus. And that's attached to your pituitary gland, which releases a bunch of hormones which prevent the buildup of cortisol and adrenaline. In essence, I guess, flushing that from your system, you could say. With this, now of course I'm not a doctor, so this is my best approximation at it, but with this, you're going to find as you get cold and you get excited and you get fired up to go run that rapid, your toes are going to get cold, your fingers are going to get cold. One way to deal with this is to use a 4-4-4 technique. Another thing that happens to people is you start to get the blinders on. And this happens a lot when your heart rate increases. They talk about that tunnel vision when you're in a fight. This happens on the river too. You start running a rapid and you stop seeing what's around you and you only see that rapid. You only see the one way through. Where this becomes difficult for you as a boater is you get stuck and you might see the line. And I talk about the line a lot. I'm not a big fan of the term the line, but it happens because partly our brain is wired that way. Our brain is wired to see that one sort of thing. We get that stress response. Adrenaline starts firing, cortisol increases, our heart rate increases, our blood pressure increases. All these things start increasing, and we just see the line. We see the one way to go. Well, there might be 10 or 20 options. There could be 2 or 3 options in a big Class 5 rapid, but we only see that one option because we have the tunnel vision. So before you get into the rapid, or when you're scouting, more importantly when you're scouting, this happens a lot. You'll see people who scout for a long time, and they get really afraid. So when you're scouting, or when you're about to jump in the boat, let's say you've scouted for a while, and you come back to your boat, using the 4-4-4 technique is going to bring your stress level down to the point where it's going to be more manageable for you to run rapids. You're going to run them better. You're going to have more awareness about what's around you, and you're also going to be warmer in the winter. Not that having adrenaline is a bad thing. Not that it's a good thing either. It's just how your body responds. So sometimes you need to paddle really hard, and you see people who are newer paddlers to maybe Class 4 or Class 5, and they will charge really hard. They paddle super hard, but they don't necessarily know what's going on around them. And this is a good thing that you can teach people if you're a commercial guide, for instance, or you're just out with some friends and your friends are feeling a bunch of anxiety. Just stop in an eddy, make them do the 4-4-4 technique. They can close their eyes for a second, do that technique, and then have them open their eyes. Guys go down the river. They're going to have more situational awareness of what's going on around them. They're not going to be as stressed out, and they're not going to be as freaked out when they go through the rapids. So it's probably going to give them a better experience. So the 4-4-4 technique, again, 4 seconds of breathing in, 4 seconds of holding it, 4 seconds of breathing out. Totally helps. I do it all the time. It actually really, really helps me when I'm going into a rapid. I'll sit there in an eddy and do it. So I highly encourage you guys to try this technique. I just think it's going to really help you guys out. So I hope you found this video helpful on the 4-4-4 technique. And if you guys have questions, please make sure you drop those in the comments. And if you have any other stuff that you'd like to see, please make sure you drop that in the comments as well. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So thanks so much, guys, and we will see you next time on Fit for Rafting. We'll see you downriver.